Good morning, students. Today we are going to read the lecture number 18 in the subject of History O-Levels, and we are covering the important questions in the subject of History. So again, we are going to read 10 important questions in the lecture. So concentrate yourself. We are going to start. The first important question for today is, why was the Suez Canal important to the British control of the India? So answer is, it was easier to control the shortest route to India. This canal cut journey by nearly a half. Not only goods, but very importantly, officials and soldiers could be moved quickly to India. It was made since 1859 and completed in 1876. So this is the importance of the Suez Canal. Even today, it is very important. The next important question for today is, what was the Non-Proliferation Treaty? The Americans were concerned about the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. It was given to Pakistan in 1980 to sign. Benazir Bhutto made a speech to US Congress saying that her country had no nuclear weapons but had a right to continue its nuclear program to ensure that it could defend itself. She said that Pakistan was willing to declare that the subcontinent should be nuclear free if India did the same. So the Non-Proliferation Treaty is to prohibit from gaining the nuclear weapons. The next important question for today is, what did the Pressler Act say? The Pressler Act 1985 had said that USA could only give aid to a country after the American president had declared that the country had no nuclear weapons and was not developing them. During Afghan crisis, the rule was ignored, but President George W. Bush refused to declare Pakistan as a nuclear-free country and blocked its aid, and also stopped the sale of the 28 F-16 fighter jets, which Pakistan had ordered and paid for. It seemed to apply on Pakistan, not India. So it was clear from the USA policy that USA was taking side of the India, because this policy was not applying on India but was applying on Pakistan. And Pakistan's payment, which Pakistan has paid for the 28 F-16 fighter jets, were even not paid back, and nor the fighter jets were given. The next important question for today is, what was the impact of the Brown Amendment on Pakistan? In 1995, Defense Secretary William Perry visited Pakistan and declared that the Pressler Amendment had been a mistake. Then in 1996, after Benazir's visit to USA, Brown Amendment authorized the US government to reimburse Pakistan for F-16 payments and provide $338 million in military equipment. She said that the passing of the Brown Amendment had vindicated Pakistan's principal's case and will go a long way towards restoring the warmth between Pak-US relations. The next important question for today is, what is ILO? It is International Labour Organization. It was founded in 1919 as a part of the League of the Nations and seeks to provide social justice by ensuring adequate working conditions for employees across the world. It holds regular conferences and sets minimum labor standards which all members should meet. The next important question for today is, what is WHO? It is the World Health Organization. It organizes international cooperation between health specialists to promote health in the number of the ways. In 1967, WHO launched a campaign to wipe smallpox off the face of the earth. By 1979, it was able to claim that its program of inoculation had rid the world of the disease. The next important question for today is what is UNICEF? It is the United Nations Children Fund. In 1950, its mandate was changed to include the need of the children in the developing countries. And in 1953, the General Assembly decided that it should continue as a permanent body working to improve the conditions of children everywhere. It also promotes the implementation of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, which came into force in 1990. The next important question for today is what is WFP? It is the World Food Program Organization. Set up in 1963, it is the frontline agency in fighting hunger across the globe. It specializes in providing food for the world refugees and internally displaced people. The next important question for today is what is the International Court of the Justice? It has 15 judges in the court from various member states. It is based in Holland and settles disputes between the states when both parties agree to use the court to resolve the disagreements. The next and the last question for today is what is IMF and IBRD? It is the International Monetary Fund. So this is the full form of the IMF and World Bank. These are the agencies of the UN. They provide loans to the developing countries who are its members. They have conditions and they lay down economic policies for the countries who take loans. The next important question is Indian resistance against the British was totally a failure. Do you agree? Or explain why you agree or disagree. So concentrate yourself. This is very important question. Indian resistance against the British. So first we are going to read the failures. Indian offered varying degrees of the resistance against British with varying degrees of the success. Failures of the Indians included the Battle of the Plassey that was held in 1757 and Battle of the Boxer that was held in 1764. Battle of the Plassey was fought between the British Army under Robert Clive and the Nawab of the Bengal, Sirajuddaulah. Mughal King Shah Alam and the Nawabs of the Oath joined forces in 1764 against the British Army and the Battle of the Boxer was fought. The British had been defeated in Afghanistan. They felt insulted and so to maintain their pride and reputation they attacked Sindh. Annexation of the Sindh in 1843 without any marked resistance by the emirs of the Sindh was another failure. Kashmir was captured in 1846. Punjab and KPK were annexed in 1849 because the Sikhs had weakened a lot after the death of the Ranjit Singh. Sultan of the Mysore, South India, Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan showed successful resistance and gave quite a tough time to the British. But this was not long lasted as Tipu was eventually killed in 1799. Ranjit Singh was also a strong figure against the British. A peace treaty was signed between the East India Company and Ranjit Singh. The British were too able to attack Punjab during his lifetime. Another important question for today is what are the causes of the failure of the War of the Independence and its after effects? So concentrate yourself. This is very important question. The first reason for the failure of the War of the Independence is lack of unity. Different groups with different interests in different parts of the India. Hindus and Muslims not united. Most princes not willing to restore Mughal rule. Some princes wanted restoration of their individual feudal powers, for example, Kashmir. Power of its ruler depended on the Brit rule. The next important reason for the failure is lack of the support by many provinces. The revolt was not supported by Punjab and Sindh. conquered by troops from Bengal and central India. They didn't support these provinces. The next important reason for the failure of the War of the Independence is lack of the planning and aims. Hastily organized effort, no prior planning and no coordinated effort. Rebels not clear about a common goal and so were easily overpowered by the British. So no real sense of the national patriotism. The next reason is British strength. Highly disciplined British force, a good team of the generals with experience in warfare and fighting techniques. British had diplomatic skills and retained control over most of the territories by keeping various groups divided. The next important reason was effects of the war. End of the Mughal rule. Strict punishment for the royal family and the last Mughal ruler Bahadur Shah Zafar. Establishment of the British rule, India became a British colony. Harsh penalties for rebels, especially the Muslims. They were held as main culprits. Public hangings, stitching the dead in pigskins. All respectable posts were denied to them. British changed their policy, no further annexation, no interference with religious beliefs. Gradual political awakening among Indians, rise of the leadership and political parties. 1885, Indian National Congress was founded. British adopted measures to win Indian confidence. That is, 1877, Queen of the England became Empress of the India. The next and the last question for the lecture is, what are the causes of the 1857 War of the Independence and the reasons for British being able to conquer India? Here are the causes. The first one is the political causes. Annexation policy of the East India Company. Various means, for example, the doctrine of the lapse by Lord Dalhousie, 1852. Capture of oath. Local rulers felt insecure and considered the British greedy land grabbers. Disrespect of the Mughal rule, shifting the royal family from the Red Fort to the Kutab Sahib by Dalhousie. Negligible share of the Indians in the civil service. 1834, English replaced Persian as the court language. Resentment among Indians to such policies. Here are cultural, religious, and social reasons. Dominating British culture, arrogant attitude towards Indians, introduction of the roads, railways, and telecommunication unacceptable to many Indians, role of the Christian missionaries, preaching and missionary schools. Indians felt their religious interest threatened. Next are the economic reasons. Indian resources for British industry, huge profits from sale of the manufactured goods in India. Local industry declined. Heavy taxation, unaffordable for poor and small farmers, corrupt tax collectors. Next are military reasons. Indian made bulk of the British army, but on low ranks only. Spoils and sawars, cavalry. Insulting attitude of the British officers towards Indians. Overseas journeys not allowed in Hinduism. Fear of the forcible conversions to the Christianity. Indian troops in Afghanistan resented especially by Hindus. Greased cartridges, fat of the pigs and cows. Now, reasons for the British being able to conquer India. So, what were the reasons? How they captured the India? The first is Indian weakness. Disunity among various groups, no uniting force as the Mughal rule in the process of the decline. Many rulers sought British help against their rivals instead of considering British as common enemy. Failure of many rulers to reform their states and improve social conditions. They lived on their past history and neglected state affairs. The next very important reason for British to being able to conquer India are British strengths, suits of the Industrial Revolution, advanced technology, superior weapons, better means of the communication, and strong confidence about their success. Strong sense of the patriotism, main uniting force together with a sense of superior culture that they wanted to spread. Political belief to make progress and to rule large part of the world. Such beliefs acted as the driving force in making successful efforts to conquer the India. So these were the things due to which the British were able to conquer India. So I hope so this lecture will be much more interesting and easy for you to understand and learn. So read this lecture again, understand it, learn it, make your notes. Thank you so much.